Hey everybody, it's... Who am I here? It's Drewski McGillicuddy's The Stepfather Movie Review. Hey everybody, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and it's time to check out a remake from the late 2000s, and that's The Stepfather from 2009. And I don't necessarily remember anybody's name that's in this movie except for Amber Heard, because it's Amber Heard. Just look at her. Wow. Wow. And who doesn't love Amber Heard? And the best thing I can say this movie has going for it is Amber Heard in a bikini at least every 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, there is a scene with Amber Heard either in her bikini or in her cute little underwear, just sitting in her bedroom. And for that, we thank you. But seriously, I want to get serious with you for a minute, because look at this IMDb score. Okay, this is not necessarily a review of The Stepfather 2009. It's me wondering, what the hell is this all about? Because I get it. You know, there's people out there that just, they hate the idea of remaking a classic. And I guess you could say that The Stepfather is a classic. It seems like it's a forgotten classic because not that many people talk about it. And the funny thing is, not that many people talk about this 2009 remake, and that's a shame, especially when it's got a 5.6 when it deserves a lot higher than that. Because the directing in this movie is pretty damn good. And the movie itself is pretty damn good. Let's talk about it. So it starts out pretty much the exact same way as the original, where it's him in the bathroom and he's changing his appearance so that, he can move on to the next family. And, this being PG-13, there's not that much blood, but it's still very unsettling seeing dead children laying around the house as he's, going about his morning. He gets his coffee, he eats his toast, and then, he leaves the house, sets the alarm, and then it cuts to like some kind of and then it cuts to some exposition. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, so then it cuts to some exposition with these detectives and people trying to figure out who this guy is, how they can catch him, and they're basically filling you in on who he is and what he does. He's this guy that every so often will kill a family, and then he'll disappear off the trace of the earth, and then he'll end up with another family, and he'll kill them, and he pays for everything in cash, which the one thing I got a question about the movie, which I think the original was the same way. Where is this guy getting this money from? I mean, I guess it's not that hard to get under-the-table jobs, but getting under-the-table jobs that pay well enough to be able to just disappear from your life and go start a new life somewhere else with somebody else, because that's what he does. He goes to the grocery store, he's trying to find the peanut butter, and he sees these kids arguing over cookies, so he makes this remark about how, kid, the sooner you learn that life is pretty much all about letting women pick out the cookies, the better off you'll be. And then, the lady is like, oh, and she's very smitten by him, because he is a very charming guy. Like, the guy that plays the stepfather in this movie, I mean, he gives Terry Quinn a run for his money with, because, I mean, he's even, let's face it, he's more handsome than Terry Quinn. I mean, look at this guy, and then look at Terry Quinn in the original Stepfather. I mean, who's more believable that they could just go family to family, wooing women into letting them come into their house. And speaking of the house in this movie is absolutely fucking gorgeous. Like, the inside, the outside, the swimming pool, everything about this house. I mean, I don't even know if I'm showing you images, but if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. Like, unless you're like one of these upper class citizens, you could be just as jealous as I am of these beautiful homes. Anyway, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, everybody. So basically, David, anyway, David moved, god damn it, So anyway, yeah, they're at the grocery store. He asked her, where's the peanut butter? Because he's going to go get some peanut butter on his penis because he's a very lonely person. See, that's how you make that funny. Anyway, so she tells him where the peanut butter is, and then later on, he sees her at the checkout, and then he sees her outside, and she says, are you following me? And he's like, oh, hey, hi, how are you? And she's like, you know, normally I wouldn't do this, but she's like, I'm not this forward, but I'm recently divorced. Would you like to go get pizza with us? And he's like, well, normally I'm not this easy. But yeah, he goes and he gets pizza. 6 months later, they're engaged to be married, and Susan's son Michael is coming home from military school to stay for the summer. And that's where we meet his girlfriend, played by Amber Heard. Oh my God, just look at her. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, why isn't she in more movies? I mean, a lot of people could complain that, you know, they get it. She's good looking. She's got a nice body. And I feel like if I looked hard enough, there'd probably be somebody complaining that they show her in a bikini way too much in this movie, which that could possibly be true. But I'm not complaining about that. The only thing I would complain about really in this movie is some of the music. But then again, it came out in 2009, so it played like the music that was popular at the time. And, you know, it has some very forgettable music. Or, well, the 2009s had some very forgettable music, at least in my opinion. Now, there is a Seether song sprinkled in here somewhere, and I am a fan of Seether up until like the third or fourth CD, and then I was like, whatever. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about The Stepfather. And like I said, with the directing, like the movie is beautiful to look at, like especially because they keep showing Amber Heard in this bikini, or like my favorite, like I don't even know if I found these pictures. Okay, I don't even know if I found these pictures, but I hope I did, so that it's just not me sitting here talking about how good Amber Heard looks in her underwear, because I'm sure you're all fully aware of that. Michael comes home, and you know how it is. You come home and things are different. Your mom's seeing this new guy. Obviously, you're not gonna like him right off the bat, but David doesn't give Michael any reason not to like him. He goes out of his way to welcome him and, like, you know, start off on the right foot. He even takes him down in the basement and shows him his hidden stash of tequila, which, you know, I gotta give him props because he's drinking that 1800, even though it's not silver. Still gotta give him props because 1800, that's some good stuff. Anyway, where are we at? What am I talking about?
Going down the basement.
Down in the basement. And then what happens? As the movie progresses, small things happen. Like this crazy cat lady that lives in the neighborhood comes knocking on the door saying, hey, I saw your fiance on America's Most Wanted. I just thought you should know that. And then she's like, the crazy cat lady thinks that you're this guy from America's Most Wanted. And then the next thing you know, she turns up dead. So that's kind of suspicious. So people are, you know, Michael's like, wait, and she said this, and then now she's dead, and then he gets this job at the realtor place, and he won't give him his personal information or his photographical ID, which who's to say he even has a photographed ID? He doesn't like his picture being taken, but that's all beside the point. I mean, there's a lot of good tension building in this movie. All the characters, for the most part, are likable. There's, like, no annoying characters. And plus, you got Amber Heard in this bikini. Like, did I mention that? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. What the fuck else do you want? What do you want? Okay? Anyway, so back to the movie. One small gripe I might have is it does seem like there's just a bit of padding. Like, some of the stuff could have happened in the same day. Instead, it like takes a couple days. I don't know if that makes any sense. I like the fact that they switched it out. Like, this isn't a complete rehash of the original. They changed things. It's not, you know, a teenage daughter. It's a teenage son. But there's also the two younger siblings that have been added to the mix. Plus, you know, Kelly, played by Amber Heard, which is Michael's girlfriend, blah, 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 she's thrown into the movie as well.
In a bikini.
In a bikini. Did I mention that? So, also, the dad, the father, comes over because there's a scene where Susan's telling her youngest to turn his video games down and he's not listening. And then David comes in and he puts his hand around his neck and says, "Your mother said to turn it down." So when his father comes to visit, he goes and he tells his father. When his father brings him home, he goes into the house, gonna whoop some fucking ass, and says, "Don't you ever put your fucking hands on my kids again. I'll fucking kill you." And I thought that added some good elements to the movie. Now, it's been a while. I did review the original Stepfather on my channel, and I remember enjoying it. I just, for some reason, don't get mad, I feel like I might enjoy this one just a little bit more. And I really don't understand what people's fucking problems is with the movie. Sure, it's technically got that whole Abercrombie and Fitch test tube syndrome going on, where everybody in the movie is like overly gorgeous, like even the older women in the movie are just plastic. I mean, Amber Heard is one thing, but then the rest of the people, even Michael, it's just like, he just looks like an underwear model or something. Everybody in the movie looks like they're gonna eventually, or at one point, have been underwear models. Especially Amber Heard. I mean, why wouldn't you want her to model underwear? I mean, I could just watch this. I don't need to watch this fucking movie.
Dirty old man.
Anyway, the fact that this movie has such a low score could only mean one thing, everybody. That it's underrated as fuck. Which is basically like an 8.5. I don't understand how the hell this movie has such a low score. It's fucking mind-blowing to me. If you don't like this movie, I would love to hear why you don't like it. Because like I said, there's not that much to not like. The characters are likable. The directing's good. The suspense building. It's got one of the best fucking cat jump scares ever put in a fucking movie. And for a PG-13 horror film, it's damn good. And people are constantly saying, "Oh, there's not that many good PG-13." Yes, there are. You just gotta look harder and maybe not be an asshole. I don't know. Because if you don't like this movie, here's another rating for it. You're probably an asshole. And like, these are like, legit. Like, I didn't just make this shit up. This is like common fact or something. So anyway, make sure you let me know what you think of Amber Heard in her underwear and the Stepfather in the comments section down below. Also, you can follow me on the social medias, because I'm trying to get to like the thing where I remember to say all this stuff, because there's buttons that you can click to that'll help out this channel and let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. But then again, you could just not click the buttons, and then they'll tell them that I'm terrible and I should go do something else. But anyway, so that was my review for The Stepfather. I did the best I could.